Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're diving headfirst into the human mind, and we're looking at some absolutely fascinating work by Stephan Kreuk. He's a PhD candidate who really digs into the psychology of our attention and our spiritual growth. We're going to zero in on Chapter 11 of his research, and let me tell you, this concept is going to hit close to home for pretty much all of us. It gets right to the core of how we structure our days, how we chase our goals, and honestly, how we totally sabotage ourselves without even realizing it. So let me ask you something right off the bat. Why do you always run out of time? It's crazy, right? We ask ourselves this almost every single day. You're constantly on the go, running from one thing to the next, and yet you hit the couch at the end of the day feeling, well, kind of empty. Like the stuff that actually matters got pushed aside again. Why do we get stuck in this endless hamster wheel of busyness without actually getting closer to our real goals? Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap to figure this out. 1. The Super Mario effect. 2. Shiny coins versus the gust of wind. 3. The inner engineer. 4. Daily tasks versus calling. And finally, 5. Concrete steps and reflection. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the Super Mario effect, and how our focus gets completely fragmented. I want you to imagine your day-to-day life is a level in a video game. The goal is super clear right from the start, right? You just need to get from point A to point B. But the actual path? Oh man, it is absolutely covered in traps and little temptations. This is what Stephan Kreuk calls the Super Mario effect. Basically, it's this phenomenon where our laser focus on a main goal gets shattered by these tempting minor distractions, which causes us to completely miss the most efficient path to success. We end up totally lost in our own little maze of tiny tasks because, well, our brains are basically wired to react to every single shiny thing we see. We hear this old familiar voice whispering, just do this one quick thing first, and before we know it, we've missed the finish line entirely. Moving right along to Section 2, shiny coins versus the gust of wind. This is all about choosing your route. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the metaphor. Think about classic Super Wario. You can run around like crazy, chasing every single shiny coin, or you can find that hidden gust of wind that just swooshes you safely over all the obstacles at once. In our own lives, those shiny coins are those little, seemingly useful tasks that constantly yank you away from your actual goal. You know, stuff like obsessively checking your inbox, stopping to clean a random crumb off the kitchen counter, or just mindlessly scrolling for that quick dopamine hit. On the flip side, we have the gust of wind. This symbolizes the absolute most efficient route, the direct line to what Kreuk describes as God's plan or your true calling. But because we get so hyper-focused on snagging those shiny little coins, the side issues, we completely miss the gust of wind that's literally right there, ready to propel us forward. As Kreuk points out, true efficiency isn't about running through all the possible paths faster. It's about recognizing the shortest route, even if it feels invisible at first. Take the story of Thomas, a student staring down a massive thesis deadline. His goal was obvious, but then it started. He told himself, I just need to check LinkedIn really quick. And then he noticed the dishwasher needed emptying, and oh, suddenly his houseplants were looking a little thirsty. Cut to a few hours later, and his plants were gloriously hydrated, even the ones that didn't need it because he was actively avoiding work. And his kitchen was spotless. He had collected a ton of those coins, but he hadn't written a single word of his thesis. He totally missed the wind of focus. So that brings us to Section 3, the inner engineer. It's time to demolish and rebuild. So how do we actually break out of this? How do we stop mindlessly chasing after every shiny coin? Well, we have to stop being passive victims of our distractions and become the active architects of our own minds. Kreuk introduces this brilliant concept of the inner engineer. Think of your mind as a construction site. For way too long, that old voice, the one fueled by perfectionism and stress and endless side quests, has just left junk everywhere. But this is the moment to take charge of your inner life. You are the architect. Your inner engineer can actively choose to just ignore that old impulsive voice. It's about using your power to clear out the debris of distraction and intentionally rebuild the foundation of your focus. Which flows perfectly into Section 4, daily tasks versus calling. It's all about how we actually utilize our time. And this brilliantly illustrates the huge difference in how we approach our time. See, daily tasks are usually just about the urge to fill time. It's busy work. We do it just to feel busy and get those fleeting little dopamine kicks. But then on the other side, we have your calling. This is about actually utilizing your time. In this framework, that means aligning your energy with a higher purpose, God's plan, and focusing on your own spiritual growth. The distinction is absolutely crucial here. Are you just filling your time with random noisy distractions, or are you utilizing your time for the things that actually bring you deep, eternal peace? All right, Section 5, Concrete Steps and Reflection. Let's talk about active transformation. Let's move to how this all builds into something actionable. Theory is great, right? But how do we apply this today? Here's your concrete game plan to recognize distractions daily. First, you have to identify your gust of wind. What is your primary true goal for today? Pin it down, make it crystal clear. Second, block the coins. You need to minimize those temptations and call them out for what they really are: time thieves. And third, create a safe zone. Set up your environment physically and digitally so you can actually work on your true calling with pure, uninterrupted focus. A great way to do this is by using the if-then strategy for impulse control. For example, if I feel the urge to open social media, then I immediately put my phone on silent across the room. But honestly, the real solution here, the ultimate secret sauce, is learning the discipline to just say no to the impulse of distraction. Trust the discipline of focused action on your true calling. It takes practice for sure. You have to actively shift your focus away from the side issues and back to your calling. And hey, when you do successfully skip the shiny coins and make a direct jump right to your goal, celebrate it. That is a huge win. Now, true transformation requires deep reflection, and Kreuk really emphasizes the importance of something called the Never Again Declaration. This isn't just some casual sticky note on your monitor. It is a personal, unwavering oath. It's a solemn covenant with yourself to finally turn the black page of the past, that past where you were constantly bossed around by that distracted voice, for good. By physically writing this decision down, you are promising your inner engineer that from this second forward, you are the one in charge of your daily choices. Which leaves us with one final, provocative question for you. What shiny coin will you say no to today so you can finally catch your gust of wind? Try applying the mindset of the inner engineer to the very next choice you make. And, one quick thing before we wrap up. If you'd rather get this overview in a different format, like maybe a written report, some flashcards, or even a quiz over these 3 chapters, just let me know and I'll see if that's possible. Stay focused, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.